What's going on, people? It's Mr. Dore back again with another podcast, and this is a very special podcast. As you know, Nottingham Forest are playing Arsenal on Saturday. I've been waiting for this game for so long, but I've got some special guests, and I've got a legend as well. Everyone's a legend in this game, but I've got another special legend. So if you're new to the channel, please do hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and get involved. Talk about today's game. We're going to get involved with everything, what's going to happen, what's been happening in the last 48 hours about Forest as well. It's been a crazy 40 hours, but that's why I've got the man himself, Dave Asprey, coming out as well. Dave, how you doing, Dave?
Good, mate. Thank you. Got through my couple of classes in the gym tonight. My ladies went away nicely stretched, nicely strengthened up. I got a few pats on the back, a couple of cuddles, and it's put me right in the right frame of mind for this very, very enticing and appetising Campbell derby at the weekend. So, yeah, really looking forward to it. And an honour and a privilege to be on with three of the finest podcasters in the business.
Dave, why do you have to say? Well, yeah, Dave had to say it, didn't he? The legends. They are both legends. But first of all, he's been on this channel already. But the man himself, Albert. How you doing, Albert?
Ben, it's always a pleasure to see my brother from another mother, man. It's a pleasure to talk football. I've had the pleasure of meeting both you guys. Obviously, was it last year, June? Now, God, the time.
Yeah.
What a night! But I knew when to go home, so it's a pleasure to be back on. Man.
People in the chat, Albert went earlier, but you drank a little bit too much. Let's keep it real on the show, man.
They have you stretching, Albert.
I had to deal with the beautiful customers of South East London to go back to work the following day.
Well, I've been waiting for a long time for this lady to call my show. As you know, we had the legend Kevin Campbell on the show, and sadly passed away. But we've got a legend, and please, people in the chat, show some love to the legend Sophie, man, from the Highbury squad. It's been too long, Sophie, man. Like, we've got to do this as well, man. Legend, man. Sophie, at last,
got to do the salute and at ease, well. And Super Kev would be going, come on, it's the Kevin Campbell derby. He's got a couple of derbies, the Everton, Everton Arsenal, of course, but he loved Forest and he told great stories about his time at Forest. And Forest and Kev, that era is one of those what could have been moments. And as you guys know, I don't need to tell you about your own history. When that all happened, that was kind of the demise of Forest. So I'm honoured to be here in honour of him on Dickie Bow Thursday.
Dickie Bow Thursday, people. If you know, you know. But like I said, people, Kevin was a massive part of Sophie's channel, Highbury Squad. Make sure everyone please subscribe to Highbury Squad as well. And as well, Albert's channel is in the description as well. Like, they do great Arsenal content as well. So please, if you do me a massive favour, subscribe to Highbury Squad and subscribe to Albert's channel as well. Right, let's talk about it. But who should we start with first? Dave, should we start with the Arsenal lot? Let's get with the Arsenal lot first.
I think we should allow our guests to take the first step onto the rink, mate.
Let's start.
Wait, you're starting with Arsenal first and not Ange Postecoglou and Marinakis?
I'm living big, Ange, instead.
Coming back.
Slobby Williams. Sorry about that.
Well, so here's my truth, and I said this even when Ange joined Tottenham and stuff. As a Greek Cypriot, it's very rare that we have Greeks who reach the pinnacle of things. As a Cypriot, we're still riding on George Michael, and there was a time where Baghdadis looked like he might win a major, and Greeks, they produce a lot more talent than Cyprus. Of course, Cyprus is just this little island, but I felt like, good on him when he got the Tottenham job. And some people, of course, talked about Albert, winning in the Scottish Premiership is nothing. He delivered what he said he would when he went to Tottenham. People mocked him. People ridiculed him. And it's very rare that you can say something publicly and then back it up. It takes balls to say what he did. And it's easier for me to say this right now without it tasting like vinegar coming out of my mouth as an Arsenal fan. But the truth is, Tottenham didn't have a better season than Arsenal. They just had a more successful season than Arsenal because they won silverware. I don't care if you want to poo-poo the Europa League and say that the two worst teams in England almost reached the final, what does that say about the quality of the competition? You play who's in front of you. The Europa League was a trophy back in the day that everybody wanted to win. It's still silverware, and he delivered. So I actually, and Albert will back me up on this, a little while ago I said, Ange will end up at Nottingham Forest. I
she did.
guarantee it. And he could show you the text message, but something in my gut
We
told
want proof. We need the proof.
She did say it. She did say it.
Thank you, Albert. Once Marinakis went out onto the pitch and scolded Nuno, it was over then. Anyone who thought it wasn't over at that point. And so in true Greek style, they fired up a few garvona, as we say, put a few, pieces of pork on the grill and made some kebabs. And you saw Marinakis honor Postecoglou in Greece for his achievements. There's a mutual admiration there.
That was it.
That was it. Once you get the kebabs on, who's going to say no? But jokes aside, I've watched Marinakis and what he's done at Olympiacos, and I don't. As Forest fans, I'm sure many follow Olympiacos. Olympiacos not only won the European Conference, but what they've done with their academy also. I can't remember the last time a team did the double in that regard, but their academy won in Europe as well. I know people want to mock him and they want to laugh at him as this crazy Greek, but he's in it to win it. And if you see what he's done at Olympiacos, and now you see decisive action, Nuno stepped out of line. I don't care what anyone says. You do not throw your boss
100%.
under the bus like that. If we threw our boss under the bus like that, we're all getting our P45, right? So for me, I hope the only thing is for Forest, because I have a soft spot for Forest because of Kev, and I'm a huge fan of Brian Clough, is that he learns the defensive discipline and he learns from his mistakes at Tottenham. But also, and I'll finish, I know it's been a bit long on the opening here, but
listen, you're a queen. You've got a queen. You've got to listen. That's all it matters.
In January, Ange made a decision. He knew they weren't going to make Europe. He knew they weren't going to finish in the top whatever. And he said, we've got to go for broke in the Europa League. And again, that took guts. And Marinakis is exactly that guy. He makes decisions, albeit tough sometimes, unsavory in some people's eyes. He makes bold moves. And Ange made bold moves. And of course, there's this connection being Greek. But at the same time, Nottingham Forest are not going to win the Premier League this season. We all know they're not going to. I'm sorry to say that out loud, but it's the truth. It's very unlikely. It's also going to be tougher to finish in a European spot. Marinakis is going for the trophy in Europe. He is saying, bring me the Europa League, get me back into the Champions League. And he's hired a man who's done it before and might be on a path to being like an Unai Emery. Maybe his path is winning those types of trophies. So I think it's a great hire, but the only thing I would say is Ange needs to learn about defensive discipline in the Premier League so he doesn't lose his job.
Let me ask you, Albert, and about to say, would you take Marinakis as an owner at Arsenal?
I said this before. Sophie would attest to this, is that Mikel's a very, very, very lucky guy. He's had the length of time he's had at Arsenal. There's not many managers across, definitely in the Premier League and most definitely in Europe, that would be at a club the stature and size of Arsenal and have one trophy in 6 years. So he's very lucky. I said it. If you had an owner like Marinakis or your Bowley or your Abramovich, he wouldn't be the Arsenal manager. So he's very, very lucky that the Cronkies have. I don't know, maybe Arteta's got some FBI dossiers on them that he's still there. I'm not too sure, but he's a very lucky man. If Marinakis was there, Mikel wouldn't be the manager. It's as simple as that. And touching on what Sophie said, she's right about when he came on the pitch. Was at the penultimate game of the last season.
Leicester.
Yeah. And I remember I watched that game actually, and I thought to myself at the time, it was crazy what happened what sort of happened after that game. But obviously, I think he was furious she missed out on Champions League. And I know he still had a game to go with Chelsea at home, last game of the season. And even then, because the results worked out that if you'd have beat Chelsea,
you
would have got it. And I think that probably picked him off even more. So yeah, Nuno was a dead man walking when he made that infamous remark in the press conference. So I think you got a kind of Arsenal fans might not like this when I say this. Is that there's something to be kind of said about people that are ruthless. They might not always get it right, but at least they're prepared to put themselves in the chopping block, either to get the right man in or to make the necessary changes to get over the line, where our manager is at the moment. Because, like I said, people are now at the point where they're like, oh, he's got to win something this season. I said, well, why was that pressure not the same last season or the season before? Why is it any different? We're right to hold the manager to account. But yeah, Marinakis is an interesting character, man, for what Sophie tells me if we listen to some of you boys.
Can I just add real quick to that too? Because what Marinakis identified very early, which I agree with Albert, our owners have given Arteta the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Are you a closer? You're talking about someone who's a very successful businessman who does many different things and closes deals. So his manager, Nuno, showed him at the end of the season, he's not a closer. Now, this could be on the players as well because they didn't play very well. But ultimately, the manager's responsible for a lot that goes on. The Cronkies have given Arteta the benefit of the doubt. But the question mark for Arsenal fans has always been, are you a closer? So Marinakis knows Ange is a closer. He said that he could win something in his second season and he delivered it. To a businessman, that's like, he's a closer. I know. With Nuno put doubt in Marinakis' mind, and that was the beginning of the end for him.
Ben, to quickly come in. Ben, you know what's interesting is that off the back of what Sophie's saying is it's been documented. Obviously, Edu and Nuno weren't the best of mates. I potentially think, and I've said it probably just before the start of the season, that as good as Andrea Berta is, and he comes with a wealth of experience, I think the first marker, if there is a situation where the relationship does go awry, where we sign Gyökeres, when we knew as Arsenal fans that Sesko was the main man, and Berta coming in, whether Mikel can say what he wants to say, Sophie can testify or disagree, but Mikel can say what he wants to say. Gyökeres wasn't his man. And I wanted it to Gyökeres, but it wouldn't have happened if Andrew Berta comes to the club. And I think in terms of any potential fallouts or friction, I always say with these two, Berta and Mikel Arteta, Arteta needs to be challenged. Can't have that iron rod fist that Wenger had at Arsenal. That can't happen again. So the dynamics can be very interesting how this plays out for the next season, maybe 12, 18 months possibly.
Especially with only one FA Cup under his belt, which he won in a season where many say it was Emery's team. He still had to go on and win it. But you can rule with an iron fist when you have more success under your belt. You can't rule with an iron fist because you've gone from process to progress and delivered no success. So that's the difference. And, you know, look, Nottingham Forest have more European pedigree than Arsenal.
Yep.
That's just a fact. We have more pedigree in the Premier League, but, you know, for us, our European pedigree is poor. And I think part of this process is that Marinakis wants to bring that back to Forest.
David, it's very interesting what Sophie and Albert's saying. What's your opinion on what?
Well, I've been wrapped and hanging on every word of these two fine people. They've spoken so much sense. What an absolute joy to come on a podcast and not hear my team's better than yours because I love them and your team's not as good as mine. How nice to hear mature, intellectual, academic people speaking sensibly about football. Bless the pair of you. It's an absolute joy because I turn off a lot of podcasts for the almost toddler-like behaviour. With us,
Dave,
you know what?
Dave, it's Thursday night, man. Come on, man. It's okay.
Yeah.
Just drink your cup of tea. It's okay.
I think somebody's put something in it, Ben. I don't know. There might be some kind of additive in there to my e-numbers. The thing is, 4 years ago to the day, we were bottom of the championship. There's your perspective for everything. Right. Wow. We were thinking we've just lost at home to Cardiff. We've just lost at home to Middlesbrough and Chris Hughes been sacked.
Right,
Are we going? No. Let me have my start point, because that base camp to now, I'm telling you, and I'm. So the thing is, it's the most astonishing rise in a football club probably of the last 4 years. Who has gone further from a low point to the high point of Europe than we have? I don't believe anybody has.
No one.
And I think everything that Sophie says about, sometimes with Mr. Marinakis, I wish he'd kind of hide his light under a bush a little. I want my club to be humble. I want this not to draw attention to ourselves and give the opposition reasons to beat us. I want us to be unimpeachable. I don't want anybody to have any dirt on us to say, let's go and beat Nottingham Forest because, right? I sometimes think, big man, I love what you do for the club. I love the fact that you put your money where your mouth often is. You made promises, you've kept them, but just, got to feel. The only thing I do think is, Gary Neville got a lot of abuse from our supporters, and he was proved right in the end. You know what I mean? And I look at it now, and I think with Ange,
which Gary Neville thing? Remind me, what was
he said on the day that Marinakis came on the field against Leicester?
Yeah.
Supposedly to register his irritation and ire about Taiwo's injury. Gary Neville said, if I was the manager of Nottingham Forest, I'd up sticks and go, and I wouldn't sign a contract. You know what I mean? It was perhaps a bit over the top, but you could see that the relationship, as you both alluded to, was damaged from that point onwards. My own feeling is, and I kind of looked back and tried to take a more panoramic view of it, I think to myself, this has been on the cards for quite a while. We lost 4-0 to Leicester City. The year we got promoted, we lost 4-0 to Leicester City at the King Power. And that night, Steve Cooper was in a world of trouble. We sang our hearts out for him in the corner of that ground, but I thought Steve Cooper is toast. As it turned out, he signed a contract 3 days later and stayed on. But at that point, as I stood in the King Power, my first thought was, let's go and get Ange Postecoglou from Celtic. He'd be perfect for this. And I also knew that Ange Postecoglou had some kind of relationship, however deep or otherwise, with Marinakis. And I kind of think it's been on the cards. He's been coming to us for a while. What strengthens my view in that is I've looked at our transfer business, and when these players have come in, the McAtees, the Kalimuendos, the Backwards, they're all, to me, players who would have fitted into Ange's first Tottenham team that won eight and lost 2. The way he played at Celtic, so he had Celtic was a mess when he went in. They just lost the title to Gerrard's Rangers. They were a mess. There was all this navel gazing. He had a poor start, 4 or 5 games where everybody's going, is this guy up to it? And then they just took off, and they played great football, admittedly in a weaker league. He then came into Tottenham, and I'm looking at the likes of the players we've signed. Hutchinson, I took into that as well. And those sort of guys who would have fitted into the way Ange wanted to play his football. As regards to what's gone on since, I absolutely take Sophie's point about the fact that, let's cut to the chase. We're not going to win that, so let's go and win that, right? And I think that which applied to Tottenham Hotspur, I think applies to Nottingham Forest this year. My worry is that the load is getting spread. We've added 25% extra work onto what we're doing. Yeah. So a squad's going to get stretched. My view is we are not going to be as good in the league. People said we finished 7th last year. I was asked a straight John Bull question at the end of last season. Where do you think Forest will finish next year? And I went 12th. And I still believe that. And I'm sticking with 12th, right? Even though we've had a really good win and a good point at Palace and a desperately disappointing performance against West Ham, where, to be honest with you, the relationship off the field seeped onto the field of play. Now, was Douglas Luiz kept off the field of play because he's Edu's man, I'm not putting him on? In which case, please, Nuno, don't play politics with my money, my time, and my deep affection for my football club, right? And then he did something which, as a guy who's run teams before, when West Ham are celebrating, going 3-0 up in the corner with their supporters, as they've every right to say to Amari Hutchinson and Arno Kalimuendo, right, lads, come on, get ready, I'm going to put you on. I'd have said, lads, don't bother. It's 3-0, the game's gone. I thought that was insulting to those 2 lads, not good man management. And I walked out the City Ground. I didn't see it at Palace. I kind of thought, no, they're not affected. But I walked out the City Ground, and I hate turning on people. I don't want to be one of these fickle football fans who, he was good on Saturday, he's awful on Sunday. I can't be dealing with that. That is not how we as human beings should function. So, but
the players didn't fight for him, did they? In that match. They didn't fight for him.
Do you know what, Sophie? If there was an embodiment of that, it was Morgan, who's been our talisman now. And Morgan had the worst game he's had for us. Even Elliot, who has just played 2 fantastic games for England.
Brilliant.
So proud of that boy.
Yeah,
humble. He's everything I want Michael to be. Humble, unassuming, gets on with the job, plays his game, and doesn't want the limelight. I love Elliot Anderson.
I think if there's one thing you can take solace, a couple of things in Ange is the Tottenham players loved him. Yeah. Absolutely loved him. He's a player's manager. The other thing I'd like to say about, the thoughts on Marinakis that you shared, which I totally respect. But what's the difference between Marinakis going out on the pitch and clearly scolding Nuno versus, Ryan Reynolds doing a documentary on Wrexham, or Tom Brady doing a documentary on Prime, or Arsenal doing All or Nothing, or Tottenham doing All or Nothing? Yeah. Like, why? I mean, and we see lots of, like, Mourinho scolded, embarrassed Dele Alli. He was never the same after that. Yeah. You look at Tom Brady, and clearly he knew Wayne Rooney wasn't the guy, and, he read that right. But also the Wrexham guys, they're ruthless. Like, Marinakis is judged, and I will say this, and sometimes people might not like it. He's overweight. He comes across as a blob. He comes across as uncouth, and he comes across as this big bully. Whereas really, what's he doing different to what most owners do, either on a TV series or behind the scenes? Yeah, nothing.
Fair point. And to extend on your point, Sophie, for all that we love him and he's the god of our universe, Brian had those moments as well. Running, so.
What a legend!
What we do, we get down, we discuss it for 20 minutes, and then we agree I was right all along. So, in many ways, what fascinates me is how would club have dealt with Marinakis, because that is two of the most
that would be box office
large in their life. Wouldn't it? That'd be amazing. You know what I mean? So I think that where we are is, Ange is definitely. I saw his press conference today, and what Ange has got, he's got an everyman appeal, and he's got a really good sense of humour. And I think the lads will warm to him, and then where it takes us, who knows? I mean, he's got 4 away games to start with: Arsenal, Swansea, Burnley, and then Betis. So I mean, the thing is, I've always liked him. I used to watch him with my dad before my dad passed, and we used to watch a Celtic game, and Ange would come on after, and me and my dad would look at each other, and my dad would go, he's a good bloke, isn't he? And I think he's got that. He's got, when he was asked today, when did Mr. Marinakis ring you? And he said, and Ange went, while I was doing the school run. And there's nothing like the school run to want you to get back into work. Do you know what I mean? And he just came across as a really, really good comment. And I just think that dressing room, which has got a good sense of humour in there, you've got your Ola Ainers and your Callum Hudson-Odoi in there. They're never short of laughs in there. And I think he'll go in, and I think that will work. You know what I mean? So,
people like to please do hit like button, subscribe if you're new. Make sure everyone subscribe to Hybrid Squad, and make sure everyone subscribe to Albert, to this JT as well. It's in the description. Even Albert, I'll say if you can answer this. Let's talk about Arsenal a little bit. They've had, like I said, the one you said, Sophie, Arsenal's just won 1 trophy. Was it the FA Cup
in 6 years? Yeah.
Yeah, and you spent big this year. What's your expectations? Because like Arteta is, like I said, you love him or hate him. He's got Champions League football. He got to the semi-final against was it Real Madrid? Was it Real Madrid or something?
Yeah, Real Madrid. Yeah.
And then this year, like I said, your strength. You got your striker at last. What's your expectations? Do you feel Arsenal need to win this Premier League? Because it's Liverpool, this Brentford, Chelsea. They've Sheffield as well, Man City again. But what's your expectations? Do you feel you need to do it this year, or Arteta will have to go? What's your expectation? To start with you, Joe.
I had Rebecca Lowe was on the show, and ever since she said this to me, I've been wanting to make T-shirts out of it, because she said expectation kills joy, right? And as football fans, the season starts and we have all these dreams, and for bigger clubs, let's be honest, they have expectations. And when you invest in something, you expect ROI. You want return on your investment, however that comes. Now, for the majority of the time, for Arsenal's owners, the return on investment has been get us back into Champions League football. Let's monetize that and let's financially enhance the club through all of the ancillary products like merchandise, commercial property, and opportunities. But ultimately, once that's all established and done, and we've been so good at that, commercially, I think we still have a ways to go to reach the heights that I think the club should at their level. But once that's all done, fans want glory. Now, there wouldn't be any expectation if we hadn't experienced glory in the past. But you're talking about a club that's won the double, talking about a club that has gone invincible, and you're talking about the club that, I don't care what anyone says, has seen some of the greatest ever players in the Premier League. Our pedigree in Europe has been poor. We haven't won a European title since Super Kev played.
He was alive, yeah. Hello.
And so he has built us back into being competitive. We were a joke. We were a big club doing small things in the Premier League. Manchester City are a smaller club doing big things in the Premier League. And I think that's where the kind of rhetoric for Arsenal has been a little off kilter. Arsenal have always been a big football club. And the 4 FA Cups towards the end of Wenger's era, that saved us, that put Band-Aids on a longer term and a short term problem. So, you know, whatever you want to say, Mikel restored dignity, a believable competitive culture. He changed the face of how you looked at the club again. You fell in love with players again. And it wasn't just him. Edu had a lot to do with that, doesn't get enough credit for it. And also the executive team had a lot to do with that. Richard Garlick, Tim Lewis. You know, these things don't happen. You can't make those things happen without the approval of the people at the top. But now, like Albert said, Andrea Berta coming in is a massive move from the Cronkies. What I read from this is they may not have the balls to fire Arteta, but Andrea Berta would. And if Andrea Berta is given that power, because we didn't spend in January, and you could even go to last summer. I think there's a reason why we didn't spend in January, because the owners knew Berta was coming in and they didn't want to give Mikel any more money. And they thought, let's see what this guy does, because his pedigree at Atletico Madrid has been huge. Right, his only dud really was probably João Felix, but overall he did an amazing job. So Berta coming in, I think, is indicative of win now. The summer transfer window to me indicates win now. He's been given all the tools, all the resources. He's been back to the hill, and like Albert said at the top of the show, he's lucky that he has the owners he's had. He's lucky he didn't have a Marinakis. He would have been out on his ear. Right. But what do you measure success by? For me, there's like the process. He's done that. Progress. He's done that. Now it's success. Beating Real Madrid. Right. I think mentality is massive for Mikel Arteta. We played Real Madrid like we didn't care, and it was beautiful. Then we went into the PSG game. We started all the marketing, all the videos, all the hype, talk about history. Come on, man, with that bollocks. That's just win the game.
Yeah. Is Berta an upgrade on Edu?
100%. I'm sorry. Yeah. But because that's not to say that Edu won't succeed for you guys. He succeeded for us. We outgrew Berta, but we're also a bigger club than Nottingham Forest, right?
True. Yeah, agreed.
But that doesn't mean that Edu isn't ready for you at this time. I think Edu was the perfect guy at the perfect time. Some people will poo-poo a lot of what he did. But I'm sorry. I spoke to Edu twice in the US at length. And he was challenged at Arsenal. It wasn't easy for him. He had a vision and he wanted to do more. But if at some point when you're that ambitious, your ambition can't outgrow a big club. Whereas Marinakis will see Edu's ambition as perfect for him. Yeah. So he could only go so far at Arsenal. And I think he did a really good job as much as he could. because Arsenal have a 4-tier approval system. Edu just can't say, this is the guy, go sign him. That's got to be signed off by Arteta. That's got to be signed off by 3 other executives.
Lewis,
Whereas at Forest, he'll say, Evangelos, this is the guy. That's it.
Yeah.
So I think he's the guy for you at this time.
Yeah.
The thing, like, what you said, Sophie, was brilliant, because with Edu, he's coming to Nottingham Forest, and like I said, it's been in the, I think Daniel Tiller wrote it in Athletic about when he first came in, him and Nuno didn't get along at all. And this is what I want to get with Dave as well, but I don't think I've spoken to Dave about it. What do you think about with Edu and when Nuno was there? What's your opinion on it?
Well, I think with the Edu, let's be honest, Nuno's official title was head coach, which to me says, we'll get these players, here are your pieces, form the jigsaw from them. It happened to Steve when we got promoted. We were the butt of plenty of jokes, and probably deservedly so. Steve, here's 30, go and make a team out of them. It's almost like, it reminded me of the scene in Apollo 13 where they put a load of junk on the table and said, right, make us something that will save these astronauts. Right. and so Steve was like, we went to Palace at the end. We went to Palace at the end of the season, having survived, and we all wore our Hawaiian shirts with Jack Colback all over it and stuff. There were maid Marians walking in front of me who were about 8 foot tall, and we were singing 30 signings, who gives a whatever, and all that business. And Steve's job then was like, wow. And it's the case now that managers back in the day had total control, and I'm managing. I want that player. I want that player. The world has changed, and I think. With Nuno, right? I love Nuno, and will always love Nuno for what he did for us, and I will always be grateful, as I was to Steve. Our last 2 managers have been fantastic in their different ways and taken us on the journey. Horrible X factor word, but on that progress to better things, right? But I just felt with Nuno, there's always that slight abrasive side to me. Kind of thought, I wouldn't like to get on the wrong side of that guy, and I think
sullen.
I think the Edu thing was like, hang on a minute, I wouldn't be in charge. What I'm beginning to think now is that the Edu thing is a bit of a red herring, and that Marinakis had his eye on the big Aussie
100%.
quite a while before down the line. So I think now you can only work back with hindsight sometimes in deducing what's going on, and you kind of look back and you think, that outburst before the Brentford game, which was like so out of character with anything that gone on with the business, with the way Nottingham Forest had finished the season. Okay, the thing is, like, and Sophie made mention of it about, are you a closer, Nuno? Well, you only won 4 out of the last 20 games. So me being me, because I'm a bit small time, I was really chuffed that day we drew 2-2 with Leicester, because it meant we had European football. But I might not, as other people were like, a lot around me were like really disappointed we won the Champions League. But I think Ange has been on the radar, and I think this is the thing that's coming home to me now. He's been on the radar for a long time. He's been kind of lurking in the background, and now the big Aussie's centre stage, And actually, Nuno came. I thought Nuno's going to be great, because I thought, everybody's going, he's rubbish at Tottenham. I said, how many great human beings have been rubbish at Tottenham? It's unmanageable. It's unmanageable. I was on a pod with Potts a while back. And he goes, who do you think the new Tottenham manager's be? And I said, Donald Trump. And they all laughed. And I thought, well, that's not a bad shout, really. So, Conte at Tottenham, dreadful. Pochettino was the best he'd had, but didn't actually win anything. So, somebody goes, I don't want Ange. And I said, he's coming with a great recommendation. Well, what's that? He had a really tough time at Tottenham Hotspur, but in the midst of his tough time, he produced a bauble of the kind that they hadn't seen for centuries.
Exactly.
Right? To me, Nuno was a good appointment because he'd had a bad time at Tottenham. If somebody said to me, we're getting Nuno from Tottenham and he's won loads at Tottenham, no, I don't want him. Get rid. But because he'd had a bad time at Tottenham, to me, he said he was the right man. I've seen Andy's press conference today, and I'm like really excited. Saturday's going to be monstrously tough, and I'm not massively optimistic about Saturday. But I think longer term, then I think we'll be all right.
I also like that he's one of the few managers that still wears a suit.
Yeah. You know what? I love that.
He looks like he looks like he trimmed down a bit, Ange. I thought
He has
a bit.
been on the old Zempic, has he? Hey,
Yeah,
definitely not eating moussaka, that's for sure.
He's been running up and down the banks of the Trent chasing the dog. That's what it is.
Stretching with your lot.
Yeah. I'll ask you, Albert. Are you worried about Saturday? And as Forest manager, playing against ex-rivals team, Forest has not won at Emirates ever.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a little bit worried? I'm not going to come out there and say we're going to batter you. I'm saying, are you a little bit worried? It's
an interesting one because obviously when the news came through that Big Ange was coming back after a 3-month hiatus, Arsenal the first thing you heard, new manager bounce, you manager bounce. It doesn't always work. Ask the West Ham lot with Graham Potter. But I won't say I'm worried, Ben, to be honest with you. It's tough because Arsenal, I know it's only the fourth game of the season coming up, but third or fourth game, I can't remember now. But it'd be interesting. I think you've got a free hit, man, to be honest with you. I mean, obviously you lost the game against West Ham last time before the international break, but I wouldn't say I'm worried. I'm confident Arsenal I think Arsenal will probably nick it about 2-1 if I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah, but last time was it in the kickoff lost 2-1.
Yeah. So it's hard because I think with Arsenal, in terms of the transfer window we had, and there's a lot of optimism. But I always have a famous saying. Dave's probably heard me say it, and Sophie's definitely heard me say it. I'm 21 plus a little bit of VAT. So and I'm like to some
Albert, you're the oldest here. Second.
There you go. That exactly, Ben. You tell him, mate.
No, I think he's half my age, Benjamin.
you know what it is? It's. I look at the Arsenal, mate. I look at the makeup of the Arsenal squad this season, and I went to a lot of the games last season, and I said this to Potsy. Sometimes I went to games. I thought like I should have brought a Kindle with me. The football was just so. I know people talk about the injuries, but the reality is Arsenal had 14 draws last season, and lost over 20 plus points from winning positions.
21.
Yeah, 21. You can't put that down to just injuries.
Plus VAT.
Yeah, plus VAT. Yeah, you can't put that down to just injuries. That's nonsense. So as much as the excitement is, listen, people will see my content. I've been campaigning for Victor Gyökeres since December 2023.
You have to fair. I won't put
you have receipts.
Yeah, Ebere Eze even longer. But
I've not seen that. No, I need receipts on that one.
It's definitely there.
That's true.
Mate.
I'll vouch for him. I've seen the TikTok.
We brought him home, man. But I always say to people, but you've got to remember who the manager is, and he's very stubborn, and they have their way of playing. And we look at the Liverpool game, for example, before the national break, and he was happy with the performance. I wasn't. I think Arsenal have got enough personnel there from an attacking point of view to put a better performance. But if Mikel's he's more for me. He played under Arsene Wenger and he played under David Moyes. If you used to ask what type of manager is he more like, I think it's bleeding obvious who he's more like, to be honest with you. But I'm not sure if Mikel, Sophie said this on a hybrid score plenty of times, is he adaptable enough? Not just with the game on Saturday, going through the course of the season. And I'm not sure he is. Something's going to have to change because we cannot play the football we played last season and expect to make a push to win this league title because it's not going to happen. We're
going to find out, aren't we?
Yeah. So the game on Saturday is going to be interesting to see how Arsenal start. And I said this just to finish up. I've got a ticket to go to the game. I got it a few days ago.
We need to meet up, Albert. Don't go hiding, please. Don't go hiding.
I'm there, but I'm there. I'm going to be there. So I'm happy I got the ticket. Nobody knows in terms of what Mikel's going to do in terms of team lineups. I've given up for the last 2 years trying to work out what he's going to do. But I did say if I do not see Ebere Eze starting on Saturday, I will find my way down onto the pitch from where I'm sitting and go and personally speak to the manager myself because he has to start. He's ready. He's the kind of player for me that we don't have at Arsenal. I don't care about competition. I said it. He walks into our side. I'm not the manager. I don't make that decision whether he starts or he doesn't start. But for me, for the type of player he is, the maverick he brings to the club, and the playing style and the goals and assists, and seeing seeing a pass before anybody else sees it, he's going to be the difference maker for us. And he has to start on Saturday, and he needs to be a mainstay in the team. And Mikel has to figure out who's not going to start in the side.
Love Eze so much. Me and you swapped messages, Arsenal, about him. I just think he's an absolute gentleman, that lad. Everything around leading up to the cup final, there was a lot of attention on him because he's like their talisman. He handled it so well. And I just think, you just said, Albert, that he sees things ahead. That's what you get when you play a chess grandmaster in your team. I think if you could offer me the chance to buy any player in this country on personality, talent, and humility, and feet on the floor, never forgetting where he came from and how he got to where he is now, give me Eberechi Eze. When he scored in the cup final, I mean, basically in the cup final, we had 16 minutes of boring, don't you dare shoot, pass. Their best pass in the cup final was a hoik downfield for the giant Viking to run on and nearly get Dean Tamball it, right? And it was almost like in Raiders of the Lost Ark, the guy swiddles the sword about, and then Harrison Ford goes, "Oh, go away." And it was like City swiveled the sword for 16 minutes, and then Palace went, "Oh, I've had enough of this," and scored.
So boring, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just so boring.
When he scored, Sophie, I was out my seat because he is, for me, the interest for me going on Saturday is I look at two teams. I can't wait to see Eberechi Eze. I hope he doesn't hurt my beloved, but he's going to be on the field of play. My other thing is I can't wait to see a 15-year-old boy who's an utter prodigy out on that field at some point.
Dave, I said about Eze, I said he's the Roger Federer of football. He's a beautiful player.
He is, mate. He moves about the field with balletic grace.
He's not going to start him.
I hope you do.
Yeah.
I hope you do. You
know what, Ben? It's interesting.
Why won't he start him after he paid all that money
Because
for
this
it?
stupid narrative, right? That number one, he's not ready, like whatever bullshit. That's just crap. So Odegaard had one training session and he was on the bench and came on for Liverpool, right? I mean, it's just nonsense. Yeah. Number two is this narrative that Arsenal don't see him as a left-sided player. They only see him as a number 10. I think Eze is a baller who could play anywhere.
Yes, agreed.
Anywhere.
Absolutely.
So, quick question, but I know so people will time, but quick question. What do you think the score prediction for Saturday? I'm ask you, Albert. What's the score prediction?
2-1.
To Forest.
2-1 Arsenal. 2-1 Arsenal. As a double.
If it was Forest, Mr. Dore, it would have been 1-2. All right, get it right.
What's your save?
I think if Mikel plays, Timber, Saliba, Mosquera, Calafiori, I think Nketiah will come off the bench. You've got Zubi, Rice. He's going to play Odegaard. I would love to see a front three of Eze, Gyökeres, and Madueke. I think, and unleashes the creativity.
Yeah,
he was. If he unleashes the players, it will be 3-1. If he doesn't, then we'll struggle. And I think you'll find opportunities. And maybe, you'll scare us at the beginning of the match. I have a feeling that for the first 20 minutes, you might give it a go. Put us under the cosh, try and get a goal. That's what I think.
I think when you beat us 2-1, I think the last 15 minutes when Elanga come on, we should have got that point.
Yeah. From Taiwo's goal onwards, yeah.
Yeah, it's always.
I think Arsenal will win. I think they're a better team than us. I think they have greater depth than us. I think we are an utter enigma. We've had one excellent performance, one brilliant performance. It was like, wow, where's that come from? We've had one, I thought, really good, solid point at Palace. I was really pleased. We could have won that. Igor Jesus hit the post. Amari had a couple of chances at the end. Woeful against West Ham, but I think that the off-the-field soap opera-ness, that nonsense seeped into the playing, which was not good. We've had a couple of weeks to get that out of the system. Elliot's gone off and done good things for England, so that might help us. I think we'll be in the game. I'd take Sophie's point that if we can the start. If we can just unsettle Arsenal a bit, then who knows? I don't think we would be as bad as Leeds were. I think we'll be more in the game. Ange will want to make a point of view, a statement. Lads, let's go out there and let's be in the game, and let's make all of them in this huge, fantastic stadium know we're here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
that
make
Elliot
it
lad is
worthwhile.
really good.
Anderson, brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah,
but I just
let me tell you. Let me tell you about Arsenal. He's not coming to Arsenal, so don't bother sniffing on him. Stop
can I just say?
Yeah.
We'll go and get Adam Wharton instead.
Yeah. Can I just say though? I was talking to Potts the other night. Do you know, Potts rang me at 12 o'clock on Monday night because of the Nuno stuff. I was going to go to bed early because I was having a tooth pulled at 9 o'clock the next morning, right? And I'm saying, Potts, I'm having my teeth wrapped this one at the front here, right? And he goes, and he was talking about it, and we were talking. He said, what do you think about Arsenal? I said, I think you should change your captain. Why do you think? What do you think? I should give Declan the captaincy.
Oh,
Declan's an engine, a driving force. Declan is a leader. Declan smiles. Declan has personality. Declan has become Mr. Arsenal like he was Mr. West Ham. Martin would benefit from having the captaincy taken off him. We'll take that burden off his shoulders, Martin. Just go and play, right? And I think. And so
no one was saying that in the 22-23, 23-24 season, where Odegaard was a bloody baller and was one of the main reasons we were challenging for the Premier League. It's just because he's an English player and he's got a little bit of the old school, I'm going to rough you up type personality.
A bit of Tony Adams about it. A bit of Tony Adams and Frank McClintock.
It's just nonsense. I met Odegaard in Cyprus covering a Norway-Cyprus game. And let me tell you, Haaland was a child when I saw him. Odegaard was literally running the show, taking care of all the players, talking to all the press, taking the burden off Haaland. This whole idea that he's not a captain just because he doesn't yell and he shouts. And old Declan, the old Three Lions geezer, coming up with the old personality, just because he told Thomas Partey off, in the Champions League
against Madrid.
Come on, man. It's just nonsense.
So, and the other one I need to mention, because he was the victim of the petition, Noni Madueke. I think it's been superb. I love Noni Madueke, I do.
Dark horse signing of the season.
Yeah, that petition I thought was cruel.
Pathetic.
The less said about that, the better.
Yeah.
Absolutely pathetic.
2-0 Arsenal. That's what I think it'll be.
Oh, Dave, come on. Before we go, I want to end up on a high note because, like I said,
that wasn't a high note. 2-0 to Arsenal. Let's
no. That was a high note. That was not a high note. That was not a high note, Dave. We need words, Dave.
A Forest fan on a Forest show not allowed to give some credit to the opposition.
No, you can't.
I want to say let's end up on a high note. We all had a great relationship with Kevin Campbell. He brought something positive into my life. He helped me out with everything. And Safe, I love watching your channel. I love the bond that you two had, and the energy that you both had. And so, what did he bring you into? Like when you first met him, from so you passed away. What did he bring to you, and all that?
I first interviewed Kevin in Los Angeles actually in like 2010. I was doing a live show called World Football Daily, and the producer came to me the morning. He said, "I think you're going to like our studio guest today." And I'm like, "Oh, really? Is he a gooner?" And he said, "He's not only a gooner, but he's super Kevin Campbell." And I said, "Get out of here." And that literally was the first time that I met him. And, the other day I was going over some old WhatsApp messages because I was looking for a little bit of inspiration. It's, tricky times for a lot of people. I think we come on podcasts and we show our happy face, and there's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot going on in people's lives, and this all kind of connects us and keeps us going. And I used to get a daily inspirational message from Kev every single day, and it would give me, when I was feeling down, give me that energy I needed to, pick myself back up. And we gave a unique perspective. It was like the fan versus the ex-player. And it was something really special. It was a time to be captured in a bottle. And I still can't believe that he's not here, but I think we're doing him proud by keeping his legacy alive through the show. He wanted me to carry on the show. We had deep, extensive conversations, and he was a man who loved people. And he was the only player I feel that truly recognized the YouTube community, respected
100%.
it, and
100%.
supported it.
1,000%.
And there's no one like him. There's nobody doing it. You know, they go on podcasts, but they'll go on big. No one does it the way Kev did, and he respected everyone, whether you agreed or disagreed with certain channels and stuff. He would still go on and have his say, and I think that was really unique. And I know for a fact that he totally adored you. He adored your show, and he supported it, and he loved the Nottingham Forest fans. He respected Nottingham Forest as a club, and if you haven't seen the Under the Cosh episode where he tells the Brian Clough story, I'm sure
that's everyone.
your fans have. And if you haven't, you've been living under a rock as a Forest fan, I don't know. But it is absolute gold. And he loved it, and he loved the club. And, you know, he really had a lot of respect for what you were doing too. And so, yeah, I mean, he was just an inspirational guy who was special, and he lit up a room and he made everyone feel the same. And he never treated anyone differently. And for a legendary football player to be that way, that was special.
Albert, any stories that you love to know about Kev?
Well, Dave will vouch for me, and Sophie will vouch for me. I'm quite shy when it comes to leaving a voice note, but if there's one person, if there's one person, I'd say, you know what, he's got me hands down for being the best. Sometimes some of the voice note exchanges me and Kevin had were incredible, and yeah, listen. We talk about representation a lot as a young black kid growing up in South London, and Kevin's in South London, and to play for Arsenal, man. And not only that, then to obviously get the chance to meet him virtually through Sophie in terms of the Highbury squad, and then meeting him in person. Or this was about 4 years ago, maybe. We played Watford at home in the Premier League, and they said, "Oh, Kevin might be at the 12 pins." I said, "You flipping try and stop me from going there?" And obviously, when you meet him in person, Kevin's a big lad. I thought, you know what, I definitely understand.
He's a big lad.
He's bigger than you think, right? Yeah.
Now I understand why defenders probably thought, you know what, I'm in for a tough day in the office today, but he's a big lad. But no, Kevin, to meet him for the first time and to be made to feel so welcome is unbelievable. I don't have any brothers. I've got 3 sisters. So
what about me, Albert?
Yeah, well, of course you are, Dave. Of course you are. But no, Kevin treated me like I've known him for like 20, 30 years. Just meeting him the first time, and that infectious personality, and the fantastic sort of motivational messages, like 6 o'clock in the morning. I said, Kevin, you didn't realize what the time.
Albert, you text me at 4:30 in the morning. I'm thinking, what are you doing at 4:30 in the morning? I'm like, I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah, that's Kevin, man. But yeah, what a man. And I said and Sophie's right about the podcast. I only got told about that a few years ago. I was crying about the Brian Clough stories. And his time in Turkey is brilliant. And yeah, listen, sorely missed, man. And I guess I got a tie with him. I didn't know his middle name is actually is the same name as mine. And obviously Kev passed on my birthday. So, you know, I'm never going to forget that in a million years. But yeah, miss him, man. Miss him. He smelled amazing as well, man.
Oh, wait. No. Don't get me started with the smell. I've got a story. Like
Albert, Link.
Smooth.
Yeah.
Link,
I don't want to put on. Like, I love Kev, as everyone else does. But
can I just say as well? I was on a couple of shows. Ben was good enough to invite me on a couple of shows, and they were on evenings where I kind of thought, I'm not sure if I want to just ramble on about football. And then he went, Kev Campbell's coming on, and then the world changed colour, and I was on, and we had such a laugh. And I remember I went round to see my dad. I mean, my dad's not here with us anymore, nor is my mother. And I went round to their house, and my dad goes, "Did you do one of them shows last night?" I said, "I did." I said, "Here, let me show you." And my dad went, "Bloody hell, that's him from the Arsenal, isn't it?" And I went, "Yeah, that's big Kev Campbell." And then what happened? Every time Kev came on Sky Sports, because towards the end, my mum and dad just sat and watched it on repeat, right? And my dad would go, "There's our Dave's mate over there." And I hadn't met him in person, but I've been on a couple of shows with him, right? And he's going, to me, my favourite bit of, and this is a Forest thing, was when we got to the Premier League, and the day before the Premier League started, we were going to Newcastle. They asked Kev about us, and Kev went, oh, it's going to be amazing for all those people up there in Nottingham, Mr. Dore and everybody else, as if Dore was like the chairman of Forest.
I can't believe it. My thing was paying. What's Kev said now? What's he said now?
Yeah, he just exuded joie de vivre. He had an amazing. He filled a room with his presence.
Charisma,
his presence came out of a scream and enveloped you. I thought, even to just chat with him a couple, and actually, we did the first show, and I was in awe of this guy. Really, not for what he did at Arsenal, for what he did with us, what he did with Everton, how he conducted himself, the dignity and the class. And when I was still on Twitter before I left it, he sent me a tweet the next morning. He went, "Oh, thanks for really enjoyed your company last night, Dave." And I was like, I'm not getting rid of that tweet. Can I get off Twitter and that tweet? And he was just wonderful. And I think everybody who came into contact, I mean, you two obviously had lots of great interaction with him. And I used to watch your shows. I'm not a gooner, so I'm not always going to watch a hybrid show. But I would look in at Kev.
Yeah.
So
he was a really cheeky bugger as well. He loved the wind up. He was a really good wind up merchant, man.
Yeah.
One of the best.
I'm gonna say it now because with Kevin, I don't know if you do with you, Albert. You used to send me WhatsApp messages and jokes and that, and I was on a bus, and he sent me some videos and he sexual like, and I was with my daughter and I was like watching what's this, and it was a loud noise. I won't say what it was. People use your mind. I phoned him. Kev, what are you doing? And he's bursting out laughing. He's awful. I'm looking, Kev, what are you doing? I'm on the bus. What are you doing? I'm looking, I got you. There's more to come. I went, no, don't do that to me, Kev.
Yeah. He was the best one. He was brilliant. We have these specialty coins that we created together, Hybrid Squad coins, and, they've got his signature on them, and they're more collectible now than ever, in my opinion, because I think that's how special he is.
Yeah.
And there's one listener that was begging him for a coin from the moment it started. And he would be like, so, no. I'm like, so this listener started sending art, right? And it's the worst art ever, but hilarious. And he would make Kev look like really fat and stuff. And Kev would be,
I'll see this.
You bastard. What you do? You're never getting a coin, Newman. You're never getting a coin. Then he would rope in judges and Albert and Potsy and Harry. And like, he hates Tom because Tom said, if Kev says you're not getting a coin, you're never getting a coin. And even to this day, we're making him wait to get a coin just because I know for sure Kev would be like, so keep it going for as long as you can. No coin. So just classic Kev.
Stuff, man. Kev, like I said, he's going to be missed so much on this channel and Happy Squad and all the channels that he's been on. But Sophie and Albert, it's been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Loved it. Thank you for having us.
As well, and as well, people, make sure everyone watches Hybrid Squad. I watch it all the time, Soph. I love watching your channel. And it brings it's with positive because there's not much female YouTubers out there. And now, because when I first watched you, I thought, okay, people should be watching you for positive things. So I want to say,
I appreciate that.
So yeah, because it's good. And we've got loads of Forest female fans. Like got Ellie, got Kate, who's building relationships. And now, but you're there for me, and people need to follow you and watch you and how you conduct yourself on YouTube. So I just want to say, people, if you do, go and watch Sophie on Hybrid Squad. If you're a non-football fan, just go and watch Arsenal because, she, like I said, she conducts herself on Sky Sports as well. So
Sophie's everywhere, man.
She's everywhere.
That means a lot to me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that because as a woman in the space, it's gotten better. Of course it has, but it's still tough. It's a tough space to be in. So I really respect your views, and that means a lot to me. Thank you. Appreciate that.
I mean it as well. But like I said, people, if you can subscribe to Hybrid Squad as well, Albert's channel is in the description as well. Dave is still not a YouTuber, so I'm still waiting.
No, I stay away from YouTube. I'm just a Keir Starmer like for hire. That's what I am.
Oh my God, that's who you remind me of.
Sophie. I was saying to one of the kids in the gym came up today and said, I feel like our Prime Minister. I said, yeah, but not next week when I get my mohawk cut in. You know what I mean? I'm gonna dye it pink or something like that. No, Garibaldi red probably. And I
You
tell
could
you
be
what,
making money on the side.
on a
Get you
serious
out there.
note,
Don't do
can I
it,
just
Dave.
echo
Don't encourage him. Don't encourage him.
Can I just echo everything Ben said about what you two do? I mean, I've had the great pleasure of meeting Albert in the flesh on that memorable day in Nottingham when I think I had 3 pints of water and 2 cups of tea and had a belting time. Are you really teetotal, Dave? Yes. Yeah. Here's the proof. Glass of water. I haven't had the pleasure and privilege of meeting Sophie, but maybe we'll do it. It's been lovely to talk to both of you, and I wish you all the best from 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon.
Right, people, it's been a pleasure for being on Sophie, Albert, and the man Dave as well. I'm on Sophie. I'm on your tomorrow's Sophie. Is it 8
Yes.
tomorrow?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. We'll put all that out there.
That's with Potts tomorrow night.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Potts. If you do get along with each other, but yeah, shout out to Potts as well, my boy. Like I said, people, if you have enjoyed this video, I've really enjoyed it. Make sure you do hit the like button, subscribe if you know. Hopefully, Forest do shock Arsenal on Saturday. And Albert, if we do, I'm coming for you, and don't hide away from me, Albert.
Coming for you. We're coming for you.
Right, people, it's been a pleasure. Peace and love. Up the Forest.